let's take a minute to talk about different merchandising strategies for a certified Angus beef strip loin. We could cut this strip loin end to end, from this all the way back here into the vein end steaks, and we could merchandise those as New York strip steaks. And that's a completely acceptable and very common way to merchandise this strip loin. But there are some other ways that we could also consider to maximize the value of this. For instance, instead of cutting our vein end into traditional steaks, perhaps we could thinly slice it and maybe use it as a Philly steak or something like that. Ultimately, what that allows us to do is create even a better eating experience and just bring more value to this. So that's another option. But what I'm going to show you today is a more creative way to really maximize the value of the strip loin. So to start, what we're going to do is come in here and really break off our vein end. We'll come back to this and show you some other ways that we can merchandise this. Now the next thing that we need to do is come in and cut our tail off. Once we remove the tail, you can see that we have this nice strip loin here. Okay, and basically meat on both sides. We don't have a tail. We can come in here and split this right in half to make a nice roast. So for today, I'm actually going to leave one of these as a nice roast that we can use for that option, but then I'm going to take these down and make our split strip fillets or a Manhattan steak. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and remove the fat cap off the top of this. Now this is something that you could leave on here. You don't necessarily have to take this off. For optimal presentation, I would say you do want to remove it, but I also understand that sometimes we want to increase our yield, so perhaps that's a better option. Now I'm going to remove a little bit of this extra fat from the sides. Again, trying to create a very cleaned, nice fillet for the steak. Now we've trimmed the fat off of this. You can see what we have on this side versus what we have this on over here, nice and cleaned up. Now it's ready to go ahead and cut some steaks out of this for, again, Manhattan steaks, or I prefer to call them a strip fillet. Ultimately, these make great alternatives for a tenderloin fillet. You can see the appearance on these look really, really good. Now the question becomes, what do you do at the vein end portion of the strip loin? Whether you're cutting the split strip fillets, or maybe you just did some traditional New York strips, we still need to do something here with our vein end. And again, you could do this very traditional. You could cut steaks out of it. You could cut thin slices for Philly cheesesteaks. But I want to show you one additional method. It does take a little bit more time, a little bit more labor, but it's a little bit more creative and maybe something that you could merchandise at your location. So to start with, you can see the veins right here. We're going to come in right at that vein and separate our top muscle off. So now we've taken this top muscle off. This would be our vein end. So I can show you what this looks like on both sides. Again, we'll take that off. Now this muscle is actually the same that ties into our sirloin. So this would actually be a part of the sirloin. So we could merchandise that in different ways, be creative. But you could also just take this and either grind it, you could make fajita meat out of it, whatever you need to do, that's a great option for this. So we can just set that one to the side for now. And as you can see here, once we take that vein off, it does leave a little bit of visible connective tissue on here. So we could go ahead and take this connective tissue off. Anytime we can remove connective tissue, we're ultimately going to increase the eating experience or the quality of this particular cut. Anytime we increase the quality of the cut, obviously that increases the value of it as well. So there we go. We can take that connective tissue off. And then there's a little bit of our back strap on the side here, so we can go ahead and remove that as well. On both ends. And then I can come in here and remove this. We could actually cut this very similar to what we have with our split strip fillets is another great option that we could merchandise as well. Our last thing that we can do is come back here to this that I said was a sirloin and clean this up a little bit more. So now you can see what we have here with our vein end, how we can merchandise this a little bit differently. Again, I would say this is the most creative. Perhaps it creates some value for these that weren't there initially. But again, because of the added labor, because of the extra yield loss that we have here now with this might not be the best option for your market. Perhaps, again, you might be more interested in taking this and doing more of that thinly sliced Philly cheesesteak or something on that realm as well. Now with this merchandising strategy, we've created a variety of different sizes in these different packages. But keep in mind, for this merchandising strategy, I went ahead and left one of my split strips as a roast, and I broke the other one down into fillets. For your market and what time of the year, you may want to vary this. When roasts are more popular, you may want to leave both as a roast. When grilling season is in effect, perhaps you leave both as split strip fillets. That's completely up to you and will be dependent on your market and the time of the year. Now, as for packaging is also concerned, take a look at this. We've filled up our trays, as you can see. We've also used black trays for that ultimate premium look. On the scale label, make sure you use the full 3-word phrase, Certified Angus Beef. And also make sure you're using the Certified Angus Beef full color logo on every package, because if it's not certified, it's not the best. Look for the logo. Scan this code or visit certifiedangusbeef.com to order labels and to download merchandising sheets, and that's your Certified Angus Beef Meat Minutes.